On today's drive back to the pharmacy, I want to discuss about a technique that I use that whenever when I have a lot of cravings of sweet or of saltiness, whatever it is that I'm feeling, I use the technique of stretching out the experience as long as I physically can to almost get sick and tired of it and not overindulge. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's unpack that. When you stretch out an experience, it tends to be drawn out. It's it's redundant, it's long, you want to get over with it, whatever the case is. And you can do that by just doing something in repetition, whether, let's say, you're watching a movie. If you want to stretch out an experience of a movie, you could watch a little bit, rewind it, watch a little bit more, rewind it, and then keep doing that to the point where you're almost sick and tired of it, and that experience is so much longer than what it should have been, which is, let's say, the 2 hours. That 2-hour movie turns into a 4-hour experience of analyzing the laughs or the plot behind everything, or thinking where the holes are in this movie, what makes it a good movie. You can make that 2-hour movie last 8 hours if you really wanted to. Now, how could we use that technique to your advantage when you are, let's say, you're cutting? Or not even cutting. I don't believe in the whole bulking cutting nonsense. You don't need to do that. You can just do a maintenance type of calories and slowly build muscle until your body becomes more adept at burning calories at rest, because you'll be building muscle. A lot of bulking and cutting are simply phases that help aid people with ADHD type feelings to make them feel like they're doing something and changes are happening, when really the changes between a bulk and a cut might have been 1 pound of muscle gain that could have been done by not having to increase your cholesterol without increasing the payments that you have to make towards food because you're eating so much more, and without the payment of looking like a big chunky boy or chunky girl. You don't need to do that. Anyways, getting back on track to, if you're looking to lose fat, and a proper way to lose fat consistently or changing your lifestyle is incorporating what you like into your lifestyle, such as eating. If you have a certain type of craving of sweets or saltiness, as I mentioned, you don't want to just completely remove it out of your diet. Some of you want to. You can do that route. I'm not saying you can't. But if you don't want to, and you want to enjoy your foods, you can do that while still losing weight, while still losing fat. You can enjoy the things you want to enjoy. But how can you do that? Can you really just have one chip and crumple the bag up, put it away? Can you have one cookie and just put the box back into the cabinet? Can you? I believe you can. Maybe not one. I believe you can. And it's all about presentation. It's all about how you choose to experience that thing. I want you to think about a block of ice and a block of cheese. You could cut up that block into further pieces. You could make long blocks of ice or long blocks of cheese, skinny long ones. You could change the shape of the ice into triangles, the cheese into cheese strings. You can change the perception or the form of the item in so many different ways. But when does it taste the best? Despite the fact that the compound of the ice and the cheese doesn't change, when does it actually taste the best? It tastes the best when it's shredded, or when it's the ice shavings. Have you not noticed that? Have you not noticed that when you shred a piece of cheese, the shredded cheese just tastes so much better? Why is that? Does it actually taste better? No. But the experience is somehow more enjoyable. Why is that? I have no idea. I'm not discussing about that, but it just is. If you have an answer, let me know why in the comments. Let me know why it actually tastes better. in ancient Hindu scriptures or Sanskrit scriptures, it is said that in a meal you should have three things. You should have your food, you should have a bit of water, and you should have air in thirds. So my proposal is that somehow the air that's in between the shredded cheese and the ice somehow makes that experience more enjoyable. The space doesn't get too full. It's air. There's something there. I know that. I just don't know how to explain it. But that experience is better. So, how do we make the experience of eating chips, eating a cookie, eating a chocolate, how do we make it so enjoyable that we don't need X amount to be satisfied? That is the difficult thing. That's what I want to tell you about. I want to give you that technique. And what that technique is, without beating around the bush, is overindulging in a small amount. It's getting in your head and enjoying the experience in a condensed time where you're almost sick of it. I'm going to talk to you about that. That's really about just eating slowly. What I typically do, and what I've done in the past, is, especially when I used to smoke a lot of weed. I didn't smoke a lot of weed, but for me it was a lot of weed, which was maybe on a few nights basis that there was a phase. But at the same time, I didn't want to put on a lot of fat because I munch a lot, or I eat a lot when I have the munchies. I will just literally eat any snack thing in the house, and I become Picasso at this point. I start to think about so many different ways of how to make something, like really enjoying that food that I'm going to eat. Let's say if it's a pastry with a chocolate in the center, I'll warm it up in the oven to make it more crispy, so it's a bit more flaky, not just throwing it in the microwave and just heating it up. That's peasant shit. I like to have some gourmet peasant shit. So what would I do? I would put the croissant. This just happened 2 nights ago. I'll put the croissant, the little chocolate center, in the oven, have it crisp. I'll have it crisp up with the broil, have it all warm, put it in a bowl, top it off with some ice cream, vanilla ice cream, have that melt. Ooh boy, that's some gourmet dessert made from home, or assembled at home. But what I would typically do would have like 3 or 4 of those and a lot of ice cream on top. And I'm thinking, you know what, I have to go back to my roots on how to preserve calories. Like, I can't be eating like this. It's not conducive to my goals. I can't do that. So I remember this thing I used to do with chocolate when I was younger. For Halloween, my parents would limit me on the chocolate, so I'm like, oh my god, I have to really enjoy this chocolate to really, I gotta savor it. So what I would do is just have that, let's say, Hershey cookies and cream were always my guilty pleasure. So I would take off the little 2-piece snack bar that came with the Halloween packages. So there was just like the 2 of them. I would pop that in my mouth, 1 piece first, pop it in my mouth, and just let it melt. I would actually let it melt, but aside from that, I would spread it all through my tongue, against the wall, the roof of my tongue, my cheeks, whatever. Not my teeth, but just all over my taste buds. So every square inch of my tongue gets slathered with the chocolate. After the 1 piece, I'm like, wow, that was really good. I really tasted everything, the texture, the cookie, the crumble, the milk chocolate, the sugar, all of the artificial sugars and such. I loved it. By the second one, I was already like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm practically over it. So I used that up to today. I was probably like 6 or 8 at that time. And I used that same technique of savoring my sweets, so I don't need to indulge when I make that decision. So what you need to do to stop eating so much chocolate and cookies and thinking, why am I not losing fat? You know why you're not losing fat. You're just eating too much. Obviously, the easy thing is, or to tell someone, is don't eat so much cookies and chocolate. But it's not like that. We're living a life where we have so much to enjoy. We're not living a hedonistic life, mind you. We're not indulging in it. But we can indulge in a small amount and not have it ruin our goals. Having these little milestones or these little techniques in your day-to-day lifestyle will allow you to be more consistent in your life so that it doesn't feel like a whole diet change. Your diet or your move to become healthier shouldn't feel like a whole lifestyle change. It should be small incremental adjustments that you make, where in a year you're like, holy crap, I'm a new person, I'm a different being, and the same beast. So give this a try. This pertains to also salty foods like chips. Give it a try of whatever your guilty sweet pleasure is after you've eaten your dinner, right? That dinner should have more of a umami type of flavor, and we'll discuss about flavoring another time as well. But your dinner should be compact with flavors as it is. And for your sweets, if you want your sweets to be, your dinner should be full of that umami flavor, and you can have your sweets afterwards for dinner as a dessert. I don't believe that you need to cut your desserts out to lead a leaner lifestyle. Not necessary. But have your chocolate, your candy, whatever it is, set it on your tongue and really swish it around every square inch of it. Same with chips. If you want to have that serving size of chips or less, depending on your macros to hit your carbs, fat, protein goals, set aside the amount that makes sense theoretically speaking. Of course, I know that usually you'd want to have an actual serving size or two to be satisfied, but we're gonna, like I said, we're trying to be satisfied with less. We're trying to be humble. We're trying to be grateful for the small amount of pleasure that we are taking, the physical amount of that pleasure, and enjoying more of it. So with the chips, you're gonna chew it normally as you would. Nom nom. I'll see if I can put up a video of me actually doing this so it makes sense to you. You can see it visually. You're chewing your chips. You're not swallowing it right away. You're gonna also place it on your tongue, get some more chips, chomp it away, place it on your tongue, let your tongue swim through the chips. You are actually going to salivate more because the longer food is in your mouth, the salivary glands are going to excrete saliva for breakdown. And again, these are all ways that you definitely have heard in the past about chew your food slowly, don't swallow so quickly, because the more the food is staying in your mouth, there's hormones that are released in your brain, your pituitary gland and such, that tells you that you're actually full. Like, you have all this food in your mouth. You trick the body into thinking that I'm eating more than I am, and your hunger decreases or subsides due to that. So take a handful in your mouth, chew, let the seasonings and everything, the salt, marinate your tongue. Before swallowing it, try to get some more, chew all over your tongue. Let your tongue swim through the flavor and then swallow. Same thing with the chocolate. Put a piece in your mouth, let it sit, let it marinate, let it touch every single taste bud on your tongue and activate it. Let your tongue live a little. God, just because you're gonna swamp down or throw back this food and engorge in it doesn't mean your body also wants to really enjoy it. And the longer your body can get a stimulus of something without going completely numb, but this is kind of what we're doing with our tongue. We are engorging it with all these flavors, so it becomes almost tired and numb of that feeling, to the point where it's like, I don't need to have any more. Give it a try. I guarantee you it will be a different experience, one. 2, you will slowly start to click and realize that this technique can be transferred to so many other aspects in your life. Whether if you're going to be drinking a juice, or I don't drink juice, but if you want to drink juice, whatever, instead of drinking 2 glasses worth of it in a day, you don't need to do that. Same with fruits, same with any type of food that you're eating. You don't have to actually eat more. You're just being glutton. Okay, so the roads are getting bad, so I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. You are just being glutton. You are eating more than you need and indulging on a quantifiable amount is what puts us in bad places of self-sabotage, whether that's drinking alcohol, smoking drugs, spending money, whatever it is that's a setback from your goals of bettering yourself. The delayed gratification will always compound more in the results of what you're looking to build and not just experience in that moment. Because that experience in the moment isn't what you really want to do. You don't want to just eat this chocolate forever and that's it. You don't want to just have that sex and that's it. You don't want to drink this shot and that's it. That is not your life. Your life is to build something. And like I said, overindulging in things and not knowing when to control yourself, or even to, like I said, change the perspective and experience more in less time. Give this a try. Let me know how it goes in the comments. I guarantee you the experience will be different and more fulfilling, knowing that less can satisfy you than more. Stay resilient.